I'm wondering how long they were there because Abby doesn't look as...
This way.
Abby doesn't look as big as she did before. I mean, she's still got muscles, but they look a little bit smaller than they were. Oh shit. Come on, Ellie. Come on. Yeah, I have no idea how long it's been. It seemed like it all happened in the same day, but it probably didn't. It's probably been like a few weeks, maybe. Maybe a few months. Who knows? Oh, look, it's the title screen. Also very nice that there were two boats conveniently out here. Uh-huh.
I can't let you leave. I'm not doing this. No. I'm not gonna fight you. Yes, you will. He's not a part of this. You made him a part of this. Okay. Okay.
Jeez. Well, she's still got strength in her. Kind of surprised. Oh boy. Well, I guess she's a scar now. Jeez. I really wasn't expecting this. Oh boy. Oh shit. Ow. Oh. Oh fuck. That's not good. I'm surprised the dodge worked. I thought it was a little too early on that one. Oh crap. God damn. This made me swear so much. Oh crap. I can't dodge. God damn. Ah. Stop it. Damn it, I missed that one. Ow. Abby, please. Why is it so hard for me to dodge? Whoa. Dude, she like teleported to me right there. I don't know if I should have waited on that strike there. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? I think she bit off Ellie's finger.
Go. Just take him.
That's it. Oh shit, she got 2 of her fingers. God damn. Man, Abby's good at biting off body parts apparently. I think that's her superpower. But okay. I mean, I would have liked it if they would have had some dialogue there. Like, I wish Abby would have told Ellie exactly why she killed Joel. And then Ellie told her why she needed the revenge. And it looks like Dina's gone. Yep. Yeah. I had a feeling this would happen, you know. Dina's doing everything to keep Ellie from going after Abby again. And Ellie just is too stubborn to realize. So Dina's just, you know what? That's it. It's over. So once again, we have a game where main character tries to get revenge, and even if they do, it's just not worth it. Well, Ellie's stuff is still here. Here's that record we played. Wait, which oh, she lost her guitar fingers, I think. Now she can't even play music. I mean, you can still play with 2 fingers, but it's gonna be probably the low strings. Means you can't get any nice high notes. Or maybe you can. Let's see what happens here. Oops. Nope. I mean, you could get some prosthetic fingers. But no, she can't even play the guitar anymore. And here's some music in the background. Oh, it's Joel. Did they get one last interaction together?
What are you drinking?
Coffee.
Of course he's drinking coffee.
Where'd you get that?
Those people that came through last week.
Oh.
A little embarrassed as to what I had to trade to get it, but it's not bad.
I had Seth under control.
Yeah, I know.
And you need to stop harassing Jesse about my patrols.
Okay. Dina. Is she your girlfriend?
No. No, that was just one kiss. It doesn't mean anything. She just, I don't know why she did that.
But you do like her.
So stupid.
I have no idea what that girl's intentions are, but I do know that she would be lucky to have you.
You're such an asshole.
I'm not trying to.
I was supposed to die in that hospital. My life would have fucking mattered. But you took that from me.
If somehow the Lord gave me a second chance at that moment, I would do it all over again.
Yeah. I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
I'd like that.
Okay. I'll see you around.
Yep.
All right, and there's the end of The Last of Us Part 2. So I'm actually recording this part of the commentary the day after. I've had some time to process things, kind of reflect on the game and how I feel about it. Also, my first take, the original recording, I spent like an hour and a half talking about the game, so hopefully this time it's a little bit shorter. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep this short, hopefully. But let's talk about the end. So that last cutscene with Joel and Ellie was really nice to see because they were able to patch things up. It would have really sucked if the last interaction between Joel and Ellie was Ellie basically telling Joel to fuck off. That would have been awful. But they were able to patch things up, and they were able to show that they still cared about each other. So that was just really nice to see. And we also got to see that Joel accepts Ellie for being a lesbian. It doesn't matter to him whether she likes guys or girls. And that's really nice to see. And I'm just really happy about that because it just makes Joel a better character. And it also makes me more sad that he's gone. But, at least now we know that he accepts Ellie for who she is. And that's awesome. So that last cutscene I really liked. It was a nice quote unquote end, because it really wasn't the end, but it was nice to get that kind of closure in a way, I guess. I don't know. But that last cutscene was really nice. Now, the end of the game with the showdown between Ellie and Abby, that was... it was a little strange. And a lot of people have been saying that the end was unsatisfying, and I have to agree. I mean, it feels like the entire adventure was kind of a waste, especially that last trip to Santa Barbara. I felt like that was a complete waste. I mean, Ellie basically gives up Dina and JJ, you know, because Dina's not gonna put up with this shit anymore. So she basically walks away from that, and she goes to Santa Barbara, and she ends up not killing Abby, and she loses her fingers in the process, which means she can't play guitar anymore, and that's just, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see. It's just another one of those endings where the moral of the story is that going for revenge is just never worth it. Because even if you do get to that point of getting the revenge, it's gonna cost you everything in the end. I mean, it cost Ellie her relationship with Dina. It cost her fingers. Jesse's dead because of Ellie's quest for vengeance. I mean, there's just so many bad things that happened, and Ellie's life is like basically ruined at this point. I mean, I don't know if she can go back to Jackson at all, but I'm assuming that she probably won't. I don't know, but it's just, it's sad to see that's what happened to Ellie. And then, you know, she gets to the point where she can kill Abby and then she decides not to. And I don't really blame her for it, because she has been struggling a lot with dealing with torture and killing the other people, you know, all of Abby's friends. She was really struggling with that. So she doesn't really have the heart to murder somebody. It's very difficult for her, and you know, I'm thinking that she kind of understood why Abby killed Joel in the first place. Like, we know that we know that Ellie was upset that Joel saved her because she could have been the cure, but he prevented that from happening. And you know, she was upset at Joel for that. And Abby was upset at Joel for kind of the same reason, in addition to him killing her father. So I think Ellie kind of understood that, and maybe that's why she spared Abby's life. But I don't know, it's just sad because, you know, we've grown to like Ellie over the years. Like the first game, we grew really attached to Ellie, and since we were playing as Joel, she kind of became like, we kind of saw her as our daughter. So we don't want to see anything bad happen to her, but the end of this game is just really bad for Ellie, and that kind of sucks. And then it was also just weird how she let Abby go, and then Abby leaves, and then that's it. I was really hoping there would be some like dialogue there, you know, maybe Abby explaining why she did what she did, or why Ellie did what she did, or what she's feeling or something. Would have been nice to have some dialogue, but I don't know, it would also be kind of difficult to do. And then the other weird thing is, when we set those prisoners free, one of them said that Abby got bit. So, is Abby infected? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like, holy shit, Abby's infected? Is she gonna die? Or maybe, is she immune? But they kind of just threw that out the window. It was like, hey, Abby's bitten. And then we get to Abby, and then there's just no mention of it at all. So weird. I don't really understand it. And that's, you know, that's another plot hole. There's a few plot holes in this game. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the ending was really sad for Ellie and kind of unsatisfying. So, you know, Abby and Lev go off. Who knows where they went? Who knows if they'll make it anywhere? I mean, their plan was to get to the Firefly base. But I'm not sure if that was real, because when they got captured outside the house immediately after they had told the Firefly base exactly where they were. Like, they gave the address. So was it that biker dude, that Rattler, pretending to be the Fireflies on a radio? I don't know, but maybe the Fireflies are around still. But I assume that they're probably gonna go find them. But what if Abby's infected? See, that's like something we just don't know. It's an open-ended storyline, I guess. But yeah, Ellie is she's lost Dina and JJ. She's probably lost Tommy. Tommy's pretty upset with her. But I don't know, that was also kind of weird. Because Tommy doesn't seem like the person that would get upset at Ellie for not doing something. Especially when it comes to murdering somebody. But he did get shot in the head. And I'm assuming he has some brain damage that kind of affects how he's thinking about things, and maybe that's changed his personality a lot, because he said him and Maria split up, which you never thought would happen, because Maria and Tommy have always really cared about each other. Even though they fight a lot, they really do care about each other. So seeing that they split up really kind of sends the message that Tommy's a really different person after being shot in the head. That probably has a lot to do with the brain damage. And then the way he was talking to Ellie at the house was also just really strange. I mean, he was like, he threw a temper tantrum basically about how Ellie had promised that she was gonna kill them all, and then he's like, what a joke. And you know, that just didn't sound like Tommy to me. So I really think that getting shot in the head obviously caused some brain damage, and he's a completely different person now. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I mean, on the bright side, he's alive, but, you know, is he still the same person that he was before? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, Ellie's, I mean, she might be able to reunite with Tommy. She might be able to, well, I don't know, because she didn't kill Abby, so maybe she can't be close to Tommy anymore. Or she could just lie and be like, yeah, I killed her. Because, honestly, what are the chances of Tommy seeing Abby again? Not very high. She could just lie, but I don't know. But, you know, she had a nice life with Dina and JJ, and she gave that all up to go after Abby, and in the end, she didn't end up killing her anyway. So, I don't know. It's a really sad ending for Ellie. I wish things would have turned out different for her, but oh well. But again, the ending, not very great for Ellie, and kind of unsatisfying. And I feel bad for Ellie, because she's lost everything. And it sounds like we have some singing here. Very nice. That was a really good part about this game. It's just the music. The music is great. And, you know, the fact that they implemented the guitar throughout the story was really, really nice. It kind of acted like a symbol for Joel, because he's the one that taught Ellie to play guitar. So there were moments where Ellie would just sit down and play, and it was kind of like a tribute to Joel. And that was really nice. And it was also cool that they had like certain keys and stuff that you could just play. So I don't know, I liked it. The swiping on the touchpad was kind of weird, but you know, it was also kind of cool because you could hit each string individually if you wanted to. Is it easy to do? No, but it was still a cool feature. It was a very nice feature for the touchpad, because we don't really see the touchpad being used that much. But anyway, yeah, the guitar was a nice touch. I really enjoyed that part. Other than the ending, overall the story was, it was okay. I mean, it started off really good. We saw the town of Jackson, it was thriving, there were a bunch of people that was like, oh, this is awesome. And they were introducing new characters. I was like, okay, cool, we got Jesse, we see Maria again. You got Seth, who is kind of an asshole, and it's like, I don't want to really interact with him that much. But, you know, we got to play, we were in a snowball fight, they introduced Dina, we got to pet dogs, that was awesome. So it started off really nice, and then we get to the point where Joel, Tommy, and Abby get attacked by infected. Joel and Tommy are trying to save Abby, and then Abby turns around and just basically tortures and kills Joel. And that is really, like, I was so pissed at that, and I'm still a little bit upset with that. But yeah, it was just like, it was really disappointing to see them kill off Joel, because Joel is a really cool character. We went through the entire first game as Joel, or most of the first game, and we saw him change from a father who loses his daughter to somebody who just will not let anybody else in, and then he meets Ellie and they grow a relationship, and they basically become father and daughter at the end. And seeing that development in Joel is really awesome, and he was just such a good character, and I'm so upset they killed him off that early. I mean, when I finished the first game, I said I was skeptical about a sequel because it wasn't something I was too interested in, because I really liked the end of the first game, and I knew that if they made a second game, they were gonna kill off Joel or Ellie or somebody, and unfortunately I was right. I'm kind of upset about that. I wish they wouldn't have killed him off, at least not that early, but that is what pretty much sets the story in motion here. So, unfortunately, that happened, and I'm upset about that. Yeah, it just really sucks to see Joel get killed. And then he was helping Abby. That's the thing that sucks, is he was helping her, and then she just turns around and just kills him. Now, there's another plot hole there, because they were getting swarmed by infected. There were at least 50, there were probably hundreds of infected there. And it's like, holy shit, this is a huge swarm. Then you go through the events of Joel and everything, and the infected are nowhere to be found. And it's like, what happened to them? I mean, even as Ellie, we kind of went through the same area, right? You know, getting to the cabin, and we didn't run into any infected at all. Ooh, why? It was kind of weird, because it's like it seems like a significant swarm of infected, and then they're just like, yeah, nah, that doesn't matter, so they're gone. Who knows what happened to them? I was like, what? Huh. And they were kind of close to get Jackson as well, so I don't know, it's just like this huge swarm of infected just ended up disappearing. So there's another plot hole. Kind of weird. But yeah, after that, the game kind of slowed down a bit. We got to do some open world stuff. We got to bond with Dina a little bit. Also, I forgot to mention, you know, having Eugene there was kind of cool, even though he technically wasn't there. Hearing them tell stories about Eugene, and then finding his basically weed farm in the basement of the library. that was a nice, like, bit of humor that this game needs more of. I wish we would have gotten some flashbacks with Eugene or something. At least see him once, just to see how he acts as a person. But, you know, we did see flashbacks as Joel throughout the game, so that was nice. I'm glad Joel was still in the game at parts, but I really wish he would have been in a lot more of the game. But unfortunately, he wasn't. So, yeah, the game was kind of slow after everything happened with Joel. It was open world stuff and everything. And then we find out that Dina's pregnant, and then that was kind of weird because she was doing a lot to help us. She saved Ellie's life a few times. She was being a badass, and then she says, I'm pregnant, and then she's just incapacitated for the rest of the game. Like, she's just staying at the base, staying back, and that's pretty much the rest of the game, at least for Dina's character. And that was kind of weird. They just kind of put her on the sidelines, put her on the bench for the rest of the game. I was like, I don't know. It feels like she should have been in the game a lot more, but oh well. And then we were on our own as Ellie for a while, and that wasn't too great because it does get kind of boring just being by ourselves. But then we ran into Jesse. We got to adventure with Jesse a little bit, and then they split up because Ellie had told Jesse that we're just gonna go for Tommy, bring him home, bring him back to Dina, and then we're all just gonna go home. But then when they got close, they were close enough to the aquarium where Ellie just wanted to go after Abby, but Jesse wanted to go after Tommy, and Ellie foolishly just said, you know what, I'm going to the aquarium, because she still wanted revenge on Abby, even though she kind of implied that she didn't. She still wants revenge, so that was kind of a stupid decision on her part. Not very happy with that one, because, you know, if she had went with Jesse, they would have met up with Tommy. Maybe Ellie and Tommy could have went after Abby themselves, and Jesse could have taken Dina home, and then that just didn't work out, because Ellie went to the aquarium, Owen and Mel were there, and she didn't really handle it that well, and she ended up killing them both, and really that's what kind of fucked up everything. That's pretty much the main reason why Jesse's dead, is because after she killed Owen and Mel, Abby went after Ellie, and that's when Jesse got shot in the face. I'm not very happy that Ellie decided to do that, but I don't know. You can't have a nice storyline in this game, but anyway. And then we go to the end of the game, and then that's pretty much it. Well, we also had a storyline as Abby, which was awesome. I'm glad we finally got to see a game where they show both sides of the story. They don't really do that much. I can't really think of any other games that were like that, where you got to see two different sides of a story, where one's a good guy and one's kind of a bad guy. But this game, just here's one side of the story, here's the other side of the story. Which one's the good guy, which one's the bad guy? I don't know. That's up to you. So that was cool to see. I really like that. Like, I like this one because we got to see both perspectives. And at the end of the day, you know, they were both, Ellie and Abby were very similar people. And, you know, that was cool to see. I liked it a lot. I think I liked Abby's story a lot more, mainly because, you know, there's a lot of new characters. They're really trying to develop these characters into somebody that you kind of care about in a way. And it was just interesting to see, like, these quote-unquote bad guys that you thought were bad guys the entire game are now just normal people, and they're trying to make you see that, in a way, Ellie may be the bad guy in this game. So, I don't know, that was just interesting to see. But did I really care for Abby's friends that much? Not really. I mean, I didn't really like Owen that much. He was kind of a jerk. Like, he was in the Ferris wheel. He's like, I know you're afraid of heights, but I'm going to shake this Ferris wheel anyway and make you even more scared. And I don't know, that was just kind of a dick move. Not really a big fan of Owen. I mean, he started changing towards the end there. He wanted to leave the wolves, move on. And, you know, I can kind of understand that. I kind of liked him a little bit more after he came to that realization, but for the most part, I didn't really care for him that much. Mel, I don't know. I like the fact that she felt bad for helping torture Joel. I like that she didn't really like Abby anymore because of what she did to Joel, but not really a big fan of her character in general. And then I wasn't really a big fan of Nora either. But they didn't really do much with Nora. It didn't seem like it. But Manny is the one character that I did like. He was funny. He added humor to the game, and you know, I think this game needs more humor in it just to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, because it is kind of a depressing game. So having Manny there as kind of a comedic relief, that was nice. I liked Manny's character. He was cool. Actually, I think Alice was probably the best one out of all of them, because she was a dog and we got to play fetch with her, and I think we got to pet her a few times. I wish we could have pet her like all the time, because that would have been nice. But then, you know, it's like you go through all of that, all of Abby's friends and stuff, after you know that Ellie's pretty much killed most of them. And you start to feel a little bit bad about it, but it's not terrible. But yeah, Abby's story just seemed to be a little bit more interesting. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that she meets Yara and Lev, and she basically becomes their mother in a way. I think that's kind of like the main thing I liked about that part of the story for Abby. And yeah, I think that was just, it was pretty cool to see. Just to see like the people that we thought are the bad guys the entire time are now the good guys. And, you know, you just get to see that other side of the story, and that's really awesome. And, you know, I think Yara and Lev were very interesting characters because, you know, throughout the game, it was like these scars are like really messed up and everything, but then you meet these kids and they're just normal kids basically. They just, and, you know, Lev is trying to find himself. Like, technically he's a girl named Lily, but he doesn't want to be a girl. He wants to be a boy. That's how he identifies, and he finally makes that choice. And Yara risks her life so that she can support him, and she accepts him for who he is, and that's just really nice to see. And Abby kind of does the same thing. She accepts Lev for who he is, and he respects her. She respects his decision, and you know, she goes to ask him about it, but he doesn't want to, so she's like, okay, I respect that. And I just like seeing that. That's one of the things they did really well in this game, is just the representation. You have Ellie being a lesbian, you have Dina being bisexual, you have Lev as transgender. I mean, and the leads in the game are both strong women, so that's just really cool to see. Definitely good representation for the LGBTQ plus community. And we also have some women power, so that's just really nice to see. Just two female leads being strong, and I'm really happy about that. But the other thing about Abby's story and seeing her relationship with her friends, it kind of makes the ending seem like it wasn't that much of a waste, because, you know, she did care about her friends a lot, and she ended up losing all of them except for Lev. And, you know, most of them were at the hands of Ellie or Tommy. And it kind of makes Ellie's quest for vengeance not a complete waste. The ending isn't really that unsatisfying, because even though Abby's not killed by Ellie, she still has to live with the guilt that she basically got her friends killed. Because if Abby hadn't have gone after Joel, and she hadn't have brought her friends with her, they probably wouldn't have died. I mean, that's guilt that Abby has to live with for the rest of her life. And I feel like that's a lot of pain that she has to carry. And, you know, in a way, that's kind of worse than death, because you have to live with that for who knows how long. If Ellie were to kill her, then that's it. It's over. Done. And she doesn't really have to suffer anymore. But now she has to suffer because she knows that she's the one who got her friends killed. So in a way, the ending's not like completely terrible, but I don't know. It was just interesting. Now, the other thing is, you know, seeing Isaac. Like, he was Abby's boss. He's like this intimidating dude. And it's like, I thought we were going to have a boss fight against him. I thought we were going to have to do some hand-to-hand combat like we do against the brutes, you know, where we dodge their giant hammers and stuff. I thought we were going to have that type of fight with Isaac. Or I thought we were going to have another type of fight where we have to stealth and sneak up on him to attack kind of like we did against Ellie. But no, they had Yara play dead, and then she shot him in the back right before Isaac was going to shoot Abby, who was protecting Lev. And that was just kind of weird, because he seemed like he was this like really like big villain or something, and then they just kill him off in a cutscene. But they kind of did that with a lot of people. They did that with Isaac. They did that with the guy who captured Ellie and Dina towards the beginning of the game. They did that with the biker dude, Rattler, whatever, that captured Abby. Ellie just ended up killing him in a cutscene, and his sidekick, I guess. I don't know. There was really no like big villains that we had boss fights against, which is kind of really weird. I thought we were going to have something like that, but really the only boss fights we had were against Ellie, which was very, very cool. It was kind of like having a boss fight against ourselves in a way. And we had a boss fight against Abby, which is also kind of like having a boss fight against ourselves. It was very interesting to see that those were the main boss fights in the game. The other one was the infected with the like 5-in-1 infected type thing. I don't know. That was weird. But yeah, they had these like intimidating characters just killed off in cutscenes, and I don't know. It was kind of weird. It's hard to believe that that's how they went out. I thought we were going to have some like big fights or something. But anyway, yeah, that's really about it for the story, I think. I mean, there's still a few plot holes. There was really no like big villains, and that was kind of disappointing in a way, but I'm really happy that we got to see both sides of the story. So now we kind of have like that, like conflicting ideas of who's right and who's wrong, or who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. You know, it's not really clear, and I guess it's really up to the player to decide. And I guess that's one of the things that makes me really like this story. But there are also things that I just don't like, so it's a good story, but it's nowhere near as good as the first game. And one of the things I liked about the first game was the relationship that we see develop between Joel and Ellie. You know, I like seeing that father-daughter relationship grow. And it was kind of similar to what Abby went through with Lev and Yara before Yara was killed. And her death was kind of brutal because she was lit up by like 5 wolves. Like, that was terrible. But seeing Abby basically become Lev's mother in a way, or guardian, I like seeing that type of relationship develop. For Ellie, they focused more on her relationship with Dina, which was great, but I don't really find the like 2 people falling in love storyline to be very unique. I mean, you look at most dramas, especially teen dramas and stuff, that's kind of what it is, and it just doesn't seem unique. I'd much rather see like a parent and child, or 2 people develop a relationship where they basically become like a parent and a child, similar to The Last of Us 1, similar to Abby and Lev's story, similar to the new God of War, where Kratos and Atreus learn to, or kind of bond after the death of Atreus' mother. I like those types of stories a lot more, but you know, that's just me. So overall, the story was good, but it was nowhere near as good as the first game. Mostly because they killed off Joel so soon. I just really didn't like that part of the story, and because of that, I think that's the main reason why I don't really like this story that much, at least compared to The Last of Us 1. But anyway, let's move on to the graphics. The graphics looked really good. I thought The Last of Us 1 looked good. This one looks way better. The only problem is the film grain. And apparently you can take that off in photo mode and you can see how good this game will actually look, but I haven't really looked into that much. That's just what I've read. But it's weird that they don't have an option to remove film grain, because most games do, especially on PC, but, you know, we're on PS4, so, you know, they don't have all those customization options for graphics, but, you know, it'd be nice if you could get rid of the film grain. If that was the case, then this game would look a lot better. The other problem is the 30 FPS that just, it doesn't feel good, and I'm pretty sure it runs at 30 FPS, but I don't know for sure, but it just doesn't feel good, and that really messes with how the gameplay feels. And so we'll move on to the gameplay now. I'm not really a big fan of the gameplay here. Aiming just didn't feel good at all, so I had no confidence in my shots, which means I tried to stealth more, but I also didn't like the stealth that much because I don't have patience. And when you try to stealth against the humans, things just take forever, because there were so many moments where I'll go and take out like 5 enemies. It's like, okay, and then I look around, there's like 10 more, and it's like, Jesus Christ. There's just, they throw so many enemies at you that going through the stealth is just not very fun. It's very time consuming, it's very boring, and I just didn't really care for it that much. Against the infected, I didn't really have too many issues, but mostly against the humans, because for some reason they would like, seems like they would bring in reinforcements or something, even though I wasn't getting caught. And towards the end of the game there, I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna try to shoot everybody. Even though my aim's not the best, it did make things go by a lot faster, and it was kind of more enjoyable, because I definitely like FPS games more. Unfortunately, the aiming just didn't feel that great. I was a little too harsh when I said that this is the worst feeling shooter ever, but you know, I was a little bit frustrated at the time, and I don't think I should have said that, because it doesn't feel that bad, but it doesn't feel great. So yeah, if this game ran at 60 FPS, I'm sure it would have felt a lot better. And if this game was on PC, I would not have a problem with shooting, because I am so used to using a mouse and keyboard. But yeah, because of that, the gameplay wasn't as good as I had hoped. Now the melee combat it wasn't great, but it did feel better than the stealth and the aiming. So I did like the melee combat. I like being able to try to read enemies and figure out when to time my dodges and all that stuff. That was fun. I enjoyed that part. But overall, the gameplay was kind of meh for me. I didn't really care for it that much. It was a little too slow paced. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it that much. Now I did notice that Ellie was more suited to stealth. You know, she has a knife that doesn't break, so you can stealth kill people very quickly, and you don't lose anything for it. Abby has to choke him out, which takes like 5 seconds, and then if you want to stealth kill a clicker or a big enemy, you have to use a shiv, which kind of sucks, which costs supplies, and you know, that's eh. But Abby felt like she was a better shooter. It seemed like aiming with Abby was more stable than Ellie. You know, Abby is stronger, she's professionally trained, Ellie is not. And Abby can craft ammo, which was awesome. But Ellie could craft arrows, but that's another stealth thing, so I think Ellie is more suited towards stealth, Abby's more suited towards shooting. So yeah, overall gameplay was, it was meh for me. I did kind of like the open world aspect, but they only really had one section like towards the beginning, and then that was pretty much it. It seemed like most of the game was linear, which was kind of weird, but whatever. One thing I wish they would have done, since it was kind of open world, and you know, since they have the notes everywhere, and they didn't have a bestiary for like, you know, how to deal with certain infected. I wish they would have had notes where somebody survived a battle with an infected and they're all like, oh man, I just survived this, but I found out that if you shoot the infected in this spot, they will get stunned, or they'll go down quicker, or it'll kill them instantly. You know, it would be nice if you can learn about weaknesses about infected or just other enemies in general, and if you can learn about that stuff through the letters that you find throughout the world, that would have been awesome. I hope they add something like that if they make another game or if they have DLC or something. But yeah, overall the gameplay was kind of meh. Now, there was a lot of options that you could mess with and make the game like easier for you. And you know, that's one of the things they did right, was thinking about accessibility. Because there are so many things where you can mess with the audio so it's easier to hear things, so that if you don't have great eyesight or if you're blind, you can still play this game. You have auto aim so that you don't have to aim that well if you're not very good with controllers, or you're just not very good at video games. You can add like markers so that it tells you exactly where an enemy is coming from. There's just a lot of options, and that's really cool. It makes the game more accessible for a lot of people. And my favorite was the advanced listen mode, because for the first 15 hours of the game, I was, you know, exploring a lot. I was trying to check every corner, but I was still missing things. But when I turned on the advanced listen mode, then I could scan an entire room and be like, okay, there's an item here, I should check that. And then boom, we're done. So I'm not wasting that much time. And I'm also making sure that I don't miss anything. So having that was awesome. I'm really glad I found out about that. But yeah, their accessibility options were just, there's just so much stuff you can do to make this game more accessible for everybody. And that's great, because this is a good story, and it would suck if you miss out on it just because you have a certain disability. So the fact that they're trying to make this game playable for everyone is just awesome, and I hope more games do that in the future. And also, they were pretty generous with their checkpoints. I forgot to mention that. That helped get through things a lot faster, and it made it a lot less stressful. You know, that boss fight against that 5-in-1 infected could have been worse, but luckily they were generous with their checkpoints. And, you know, there were certain towns where there was just a lot of humans around, and if there wasn't any checkpoints, that would have sucked. And I don't know if I would have gotten through it. But, you know, luckily their checkpoint system is very generous, and I really like that. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Overall, the game is very well made, but I don't think it's as good as the first game. I don't know, there's just something about the first game that I enjoyed so much more, whether it's the story or the way the game felt. There's just something about this game that I'm not really too happy about, and I think mostly it's because they killed off Joel. Like, Joel was one of the best characters, and they killed him off super early, and I don't think he was in the game enough. So, yeah, overall, story was okay, graphics were good, the gameplay was kind of meh, and the accessibility options are awesome. The representation, the character development in this game is just really good. You know, Naughty Dog is very good at developing their characters and making you care about people. Yeah, it's a very well-made game. It's just, as a fan of The Last of Us 1, I don't enjoy it as much. But if I hadn't have played The Last of Us 1 and I didn't have that attachment to Joel and Ellie, I probably wouldn't hate this game as much as I do. Well, I don't hate it, but I wouldn't dislike this game as much as I do. You know, I still like the game. It's not bad, but I wish I would have liked it more. So even though I didn't enjoy the game as much as I had hoped, I'm still kind of interested to see if they're going to make another game or some DLC for this, because there are still quite a few unanswered questions. You know, what happened to Ellie? Where is she going? What happened to Dina and JJ? What happened to Tommy? What happens to Abby and Lev? Are they gonna find the Fireflies? Is Abby actually infected? Is she immune? I mean, these are interesting questions to think about, and I really hope they answer these questions somehow, whether it's through DLC or another game. Hopefully they answer it, but, you know, that's kind of why the ending isn't that great for me, because there's still questions here. So most likely I can see them making another game or something to kind of explain that stuff, and I'd definitely be interested in that. But as of right now, the ending is kind of not that satisfying, like everybody's been saying. but I think I would still recommend playing it because it is a very good game. And, you know, if you really enjoyed the end of The Last of Us 1, you're probably going to be disappointed with this game. But if you liked playing through The Last of Us 1, you know, you like the gameplay and stuff, then you're probably going to enjoy this game. But the story is really, I have mixed feelings about the story, so I don't know. I still recommend trying it out. It's a very good game. It took me like 35 hours just to get through it, so you'll get a lot of time out of it. But I think that's about it. Let me know what you thought by leaving a comment. Also, let me know what you thought of the videos. Like, I experimented with editing quite a bit. At the beginning, I was doing a lot of jump cutting, but I didn't really like that, so I started doing more fast forwarding. Kind of like that a little bit more because you still get to see what happens. It's just compressed into like a 5 to 10 second segment rather than sitting there for like 20 seconds sitting behind a box or something while I wait for this guy to walk in front of me, or moving from one area to another where nothing happens. Yeah, I think I might try using the fast forward a little bit more in future playthroughs, but it's the best when I don't have to edit at all, because that means I'm doing a good job of talking a lot and you know, making sure that something's happening on screen. I like not having to edit that much, but if I do, I think I'll probably lean more towards the fast forward option, or maybe jump cut every now and then. But let me know what you like. But yeah, I think that's about it for this playthrough. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I enjoyed making these videos. It was nice to have a YouTube exclusive playthrough again, and hopefully I will be playing more games here. So if you're interested in more Let's Plays, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, that's going to be it for The Last of Us Part 2. Overall, it's a very well-made game. There are certain things that I don't really agree with, but I still like it. I don't think it's as good as the first game. So I think I'll leave it at that, but that is going to be it. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will talk to you all later.